My name is Chris Peltz, and on today's episode of Blind Grillin', we're going to chat about charcoal. The charcoal debate continues to rage. And folks, I could make you sit here and wait to the very end to tell you what I think is the very best, but I'm going to cut right to the chase, and I'm going to let you know Fogo charcoal is absolutely my choice when it comes to what I'm using in my big green egg. But what I would like to do is explain to you why that is the case. So stay tuned and let's talk about our choice of charcoal. So folks, I've been using lump charcoal for just over 15 years now. And, prior to being introduced to the big green egg, with metal grills, I had the Kingsford briquettes that I would use. But then when I was introduced to the big green egg, I was also introduced at that time to lump charcoal, whole lump charcoal. And for those of you who don't know what lump charcoal is, and I'll just grab a piece of it here out of the egg and just kind of show you. It's a piece of wood that has been kind of burned up in a kiln, and these are a little bit smaller pieces from what I'm used to, but it's pieces of wood that have been burned. They call it whole lump charcoal. There's no additives, nothing has been compressed or anything like that, like you get with briquettes. And unlike briquettes, with lump charcoal, when you're using this for your fire, it is mostly consumed up and creates very little ash. Whereas with briquettes, you create nothing but ash. Sure, a lot of heat is produced, but you get a lot of ash with that. With the lump charcoal, very little ash is produced. Now, as we mentioned earlier, I am a huge fan and proponent of the Fogo charcoal. But it wasn't always the case. In fact, I've only known about Fogo charcoal for about 1.5 to 2 years now. When I was introduced to the Big Green Egg, I was introduced to the Big Green Egg brand of lump charcoal. And occasionally I would go to the stores, and where I lived at various times, about the only lump charcoal that was available to me was either the Big Green Egg brand charcoal, or I could go to a big box store and get Cowboy lump charcoal. But other than that, that was all that I really knew. So one day I decided, let's try this Cowboy lump charcoal because it's more than half off for the same amount of charcoal. So I loaded up the Big Green Egg and I lit that Cowboy lump charcoal, and you would have thought it was the 4th of July. I mean, there were sparks that were going everywhere. You would have think my kids played a joke and put a sparkler in the egg. I mean, it was just crazy and crackling and popping, and thankfully it wasn't the egg, but it was the charcoal. And so I was like, well, there is no way that's, first of all, it's scary for someone who can't see. But you hear stories about that, like that all the time, even from folks who can see, and it's a nerve-wracking event when that begins to take place. And so I searched around for some other brands of charcoal, and I came across a few, and I would use them, and they would burn up really fast, or they would light really slow, and various things that just wasn't happy with it. I wasn't satisfied with it at all, and I would always come back to the Big Green Egg brand of charcoal, but I was getting really frustrated with that as well. And listen, if you know me, I am an egghead. I mean, I love Big Green Egg. I love everything about Big Green Egg, everything Big Green Egg. It's just, I love it. I'm all about it. But their charcoal, it's good quality lump. It burns great. There's no doubt about that. But there's usually a lot of really fine, small pieces, a lot of dust in the bags, and there's always chunks of something like rock, or sticks, or just various things that you find, concrete in the bags. And I was just really fed up with that. Even though the charcoal burned great, I was really fed up. And that's when I started hearing everyone talk about Fogo charcoal. So I decided to try it. I haven't tried every brand that's out there. Full disclosure, I haven't tried Rockwood charcoal, and I hear that that's a great and awesome brand of charcoal. But I have tried several brands of charcoal out there, and then I tried Fogo, and I have been nothing but impressed ever since that first load of charcoal in the Big Green Egg. And just to kind of show you, we looked at a couple of the smaller chunks that were in the egg. This is more typical of what you'll find in a bag of Fogo, which we'll show you in just a minute, a larger chunk. But this is after about 3 cooks in my extra large egg. I still got a bunch of lump left, and I do low and slow, I do hot and fast. I do a bunch of cooks all the time in all of my eggs, and the super premium Fogo charcoal has never disappointed. Not only, in the quality of lump, but I'm gonna get this bag kind of over here. This is a 35-pound bag of lump charcoal, and just reaching in, this is what you find in this bag of lump charcoal. Just one huge chunk after another. Just reaching in. These are good, solid, huge pieces. And for the large and extra large, this super premium bag of Fogo charcoal is exactly what I use. Now for the mini max, those are a little big for the mini max, but rather than the super premium, just the premium Fogo charcoal is slightly small, still good chunks, slightly smaller, fit perfect in the mini max, and the way it burns, is, again, it's great. It is absolutely awesome. I highly recommend Fogo charcoal. In fact, I loved it so much, I contacted Sebastian at Fogo charcoal, and I told him about Blind Grilling, what we do as an organization, and I asked him to partner with us, because when we give these Big Green Egg packages to folks that are so deserving of it, to give them independence, I want them to have the best quality that we can absolutely provide them. And Fogo charcoal was all about it. They were on board and they helped us out. We we're able to purchase our Fogo charcoal directly from them, in full disclosure. But listen, it was because I went after it. I wanted it because of the quality of lump that they provide. It's a Brazilian hardwood, and the flavor profile of Fogo charcoal is absolutely phenomenal. And and I say that for this reason. It's actually fairly neutral. But what it allows you to do is pick the flavor of wood you want. Whether you want pecan, peach, persimmon, oak, hickory, whatever it is you want, you can add a few chunks, and the Fogo does its job with the heat, subtle flavor, but it really allows you to accentuate the flavor you want with the type of wood that you want for your meat. And so it does great there as well. It lasts, it burns hot, it burns slow, it does everything you ever ask of it, and you don't find a bunch of trash in the bags when you get them home. What you find is huge quality lump charcoal. I'm telling you folks, if you haven't tried Fogo charcoal, I highly recommend giving it a go. I appreciate everybody watching Blind Grilling. If you got questions, you want to continue the huge debate about charcoal, leave some comments below. That's fine, But listen, just from experience, I know what I've gone through. I know what I've used, and I haven't found anything better than Fogo at this point, and we're going to stick with it. I appreciate you watching Blind Grilling. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Grab a bag of Fogo and try it out. Order it online or find a local retailer so that you can purchase your own bag and see what the hype is all about. Again, thanks for watching Blind Grilling, and remember, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. My name is Chris Peltz, and I'm a user of lump charcoal.